guys, it's Abby and today I'm going to be giving you my winter reading recommendations. Abby from the future here. When I filmed this video and a few others, I had the camera way too zoomed in on my face, but I'm pre-filming because I'm heading off to do a master's, which is going to take up all of my time, so I can't refilm them. So I'm sorry that my forehead isn't in shot, and I hope you can deal with it and still enjoy the video. So enjoy watching. So I thought I'd wear this icy blue number. I'm aware that this is like a summer thing. I live in Britain. This is a summer thing, but it's icy blue. So I didn't want to wear my winter jumper. I didn't want to wear my Christmas jumper because, I mean, that's a bit specific within the Christianity/British levels. So thought I'd go for a bit more universally accepting and just a very pale icy blue. So yes, this is going to be my recommendations for what I think you guys may enjoy reading in winter. Now, I tend to like reading historical fictions and fantasies in winter, so if that's not your thing, this probably isn't your sort of recommendation video. However, if it is, keep watching because I've got some really good ones. So I'm going to start with some of the fantasy series. Series, how do you pluralise a series? Who knows? I don't want to take them out because you can probably see, I'll check you can see. Yeah, you can see. They're all stacked. No, but look! I really recommend reading The Inheritance Cycle. It's a beautifully written, really in-depth fantasy world. I haven't reread it in years. I did reread it a few times. Also, I'm aware these are the wrong way around. I reorganised and didn't change them within the box set. But I just think it's a really, really good series. It's got dragons, it's got magic, elves. Why would you not read this? And again, I really love me some fantasy in the winter. So, definitely recommend that. Then, the next up, cast your eyes up a shelf, is the Pellinor series. No one is surprised. The riddle actually has a very much winter theme to it. She goes north, so like perma-winter, so very wintry. So if you've read The Gift / The Naming, hello America, and you haven't moved on to the riddle, that could be a great time because it's all snowy. But I do just, again, great fantasy. Read it. Then there is also His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, so that is Northern Lights, The Amber Spyglass and The Subtle Knife. Obviously this was filmed as The Golden Compass, as I'm sure many of you know. This is a fantasy world where your personality has like a form in the form of an animal, and as a child it changes and as an adult it settles down, and people like look into why that happens. Like they're trying to figure out the scientific reasoning behind it, sort of thing. But it's in a different world to ours, and our world exists within this universe. There we go. I was struggling for what the heck to call it there. But yeah, our world exists within this universe, and this is a different world. Philip Pullman writes beautifully. I've reread these so many times. And again, I love me a fantasy. Then we have some Grishaverse, Six of Crows. I have only read this. This is the only Leigh Bardugo book I've ever read. I own Crooked Kingdom, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Hopefully I'll be reading it this winter. And I need to buy the Shadow and Bone trilogy. But I absolutely adored this book. I gave it 5 stars. There is also a wintry aspect to it within the book. But it's just really beautifully written. You'll be, well, if you enjoy it like I did, you'll be engrossed, you'll love it. It's written by so many different characters' point of views. I adore certain characters. I won't say who, but oh, they're mine. And yeah, another great read. Now delving momentarily into younger fantasy, so 8 to 12, childhood, middle grade, whatever fantasy. One book is Northchild. This is a whopper, and I read it when I was about 12 and adored it. It is set, you know, one of the main characters is a polar bear. Winter and fantasy and magic. This is a really good book. I really loved it. I haven't reread it since I was a little younger, but I did reread it a lot when I was a child, and I just think it's a really beautiful one. So we follow our main character Rose, and she follows this bear that appears that takes her away, because she's told that she has to, like, look after her family sort of thing. It's a... I guess you could say it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't think it's intended as that, but it's very much got that vibe. And then... Narnia. This is my box set of the Chronicles of Narnia. It normally sits on top of my bookshelves, so I don't think you guys can see it. I absolutely adore these. I've reread them so many times. They were basically my religion as a child. Like... And obviously The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, if you guys have seen the film or seen promo for it, is a very wintry based read. And that was actually the first one that was published, even though it's the second in the overall series. So feel free to just read that one if you want something that feels very wintry. But it was just... I absolutely adore this series. They're done so beautifully. I didn't realise the religious connections until I was a lot older. Like... what, 13, 14, I was like, wait, he's meant to be God. As a child, didn't click at all. It personally didn't make me any more religious. I'm not religious, but if you are a Christian, or if you're wanting your child to read some more Christian-esque stuff, this could be a really good choice. It doesn't force religion upon anyone, but it does make you think about morals and things, which any good book should do. And finally, for the specifically childhood fantasy, we have The Eye of the North by Sinead Hart. This is set in the North Pole. They travel up there, so you've got a little bit in the normal world, and then they travel up there, and it's got mystical creatures, it's got like... just, it's a really good middle grade. So yeah, there's the Kraken, magic, and... I've talked about it before. It's great, and it'll be such a good one to read. And my last fantasy recommendation, which all of you have probably read, but there'll be some that haven't, Harry Potter. I don't even need to put anything up, just Harry Potter. It's a great book. They always have really good winter scenes, the movies are beautiful. Harry Potter. So, on to some historical fiction. I only have one kids book, middle grade book, whatever, for this section, so I'll do that one first. And it is Just Henry by Michelle Magorian. I always say that wrong. Apologies. This book, another chunker, it's just after World War II. It follows Henry. He's obsessed with cinema, which is why this cover is how it is, and you know, the cinema lights and all that. And his dad died a war hero, and he misses him, and his mother has a new husband, and he just does not like him. He's a nice bloke, but he just does not like him. He just despises him. And it's kind of like a coming of age story. There's no fantastical elements within this. This is straight history. I think most of these are. So it's a straight history, but it's done beautifully. There's some really deep topics touched upon with this one. Like, it is a kid's book. I would say, like, oh, I don't even know. Like, it has a contents page, which is normally indicative of younger people's books. They tend to have contents and chapters listed. But it does deal with some incredibly deep topics. I have cried multiple times rereading this book, even as an adult now. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and the way it's written must be appropriate for young kids, because I never felt like I shouldn't have read it. And I adore this. I will adore this till the day I die. It's a beautiful book. Then, to get the obvious out of the way, The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. This follows a young girl in Nazi Germany and kind of dealing with surviving in that era, because it wasn't exactly easy for the Germans to survive within Germany unless you were like a massive Nazi. So it kind of deals with that and deals with how people cope with it, and it is narrated by Death, which is very unique. And there are obviously, you know, cold winter scenes and stuff, and it's just, yeah, I know that everyone recommends this. I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but I did really enjoy it. Next up is The Motorist by Jessie Burton. This has a little bit of a fantastical element to it, but it is set in 1686 in Amsterdam, so it's very much a historical fiction. This book is based around a young girl who is made to go marry this man, which is very typical of the time, and as a like wedding gift he gets her a doll's house. Not like a kid's doll's house, they're very beautifully carved, very intricate, and she gets models that are very lifelike and are like the people who live in the house and like the dog who lives in the house, and they move around the house when no one's there and no one's looking. Like she'll come back and they've shifted in the doll's house, and there's loads of secrets in the house, and I just really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I don't want to say any more because it's a little bit of a mystery, historical fantasy. It's great. Then we have the Malinovski Papers. I can't remember the name of this person, I think it's H. Jones maybe? It'll say on the cover. This book follows the Romanovs, the Russian Tsar family that was all executed. And a kind of a mystery behind it. Everyone's always thought that someone survived. Everyone's always thought someone's gone out. And this kind of follows Anastasia and whether she got out and the life of a man living in the town at the time. It's kind of hard to describe, and I wasn't expecting to love it. I was like, oh yeah, Romanovs, I'll pick that up, looks pretty decent. And I couldn't put it down. I was going to rate it 4 stars, and I'd read it when my boyfriend was visiting, and he said to me like, why? You couldn't put it down, you've ignored me for this book. You know, in a long distance relationship, ignoring someone's a bit of a thing. I couldn't put it down, so I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's just a really beautifully written historical fiction that progresses into the modern day. And my last winter recommendation is one that made me weep. It made me sob. The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. I got this as a NetGalley. I had to buy it. I've not actually reread this copy yet because I will cry. This book follows Leil Sokolov. It's based on the powerful true story of him, as it says it here. It is actually based on the true story of his life and how he survived Auschwitz and the Nazis whilst being a Jew. So Heather Morris went to go speak with him not long after his wife, what's her name, Gita, died, and he tells their story because he met her in the concentration camp. So you know that both he and Gita survive, but that doesn't make it any less harrowing. It doesn't make the experience any less impactful. Like, you're not sat there worrying like, oh my god, are they gonna die? But obviously worse things can happen than death, and many did in the concentration camps during the Holocaust. Many atrocious things happen, and this is a very powerful story. Literally, when I finished it, I was sobbing in my room. My flatmate next door was like, what the hell is wrong with you? What is that weird noise? I'm like, oh, it's just me crying my little heart out. I was just... It wasn't even necessarily that the ending was incredibly sad, because obviously they both survive, both Leil and Gita survived this. But it's just the build-up of emotions, of the atrocities that these people go through, the loss that they go through, the deaths that they have to experience of people that they come to love and care about. And at the end I just needed to release and cry. This is a beautiful book. And that's all of my recommendations for winter reading. Sorry to end on a kind of sad note. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope you read some of these, especially The Tattooist of Auschwitz. If you cry, tell me. Make me feel less bad about weeping at the end of this book. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!